Good morning and welcome to Big Bets on Campus Live, presented by BetMGM. This is the bowl betting preview part one, a live show. I'm Stuckey, and joining me as always is my Big Bets on Campus podcast co-host Collin Wilson, and of course our own college football insider, Mr. Brett McMurphy. We're going to give out our three best bets today of bowl games through December 26th. We'll have another live show on December 27th to follow, so make sure you stay tuned on Twitter for that. And then, unfortunately, we'll bring in Darren Ravel for a market report. But fortunately, I think we'll get potential fade. We'll see what he's going to bring to the table for bowl season. Before we do get started, I do want to remind everyone to make sure that you download the award-winning Action Network app. You can find all of our picks there, in addition to an abundance of data and actionable content for today's slate and beyond. Lots of great bowl content there. And our sponsor, BetMGM, has a great new offer. Make sure you use the bonus code ACTION when you sign up and get a risk-free wager up to $1,000. Terms and conditions do apply. Again, that is the bonus code ACTION. Before we kick things off here with the Hometown Lenders Bahamas Bowl, which is going to get started here in just a little bit. Brett, do you have a favorite bowl? Maybe we'll sponsor a bowl one day. Do you have a favorite bowl sponsor name? I know that we're going to talk about the Wasabi Fenway Bowl here in a little bit, but any bowls that you fell in love with as far as sponsors or just in general?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the granddaddy of them all, the Poulin Weed Eater Bowl is the one that resonates with me and always will have a, spot in my heart.
Well, what made me sad is the Bad Boy Mowers used to be Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. Now they're the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. We have sponsors there's changing.
Who's mowing their lawn in New York?
There's a lot of grass in New York to cut. So yeah, they're up in New York now.
I think that's an Arkansas lawnmower company. Do you have a favorite bowl? And are you going to the Liberty Bowl, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, to see your hogs?
After going to the Outback Bowl, rest in peace, Outback Bowl in Blooming Onion. I think you're ReliaQuest now. I will be skipping an Arkansas bowl game, but I will be joining Mr. McMurphy out at some New Year's Six bowl. So I will get my bowl fill. I'm still waiting for. I missed the Motel 6 Cactus Bowl. I'm still waiting on a Waffle House Bowl. I need these bowls to have different sponsors because my grandma is just nailing all of them. Like if you are a loan company or if you're providing a new roof in the state of Florida, you are sponsoring a bowl this year.
Yeah, lots of lenders and mortgage companies sponsoring bowls. And I think it's a smart move not going to Liberty Bowl because Kansas is going to win that game. We'll talk about that on our next live show on the 27th. Let's kick things off with our best bets. Let's first take a look at the season-long leaderboard. I will kick things off here. I am going to go with Air Force plus the points. This was almost an autoplay. If I saw any value in this number, I was taking Air Force. Service academies in bowl games since 1990, 70% against the spread. If it's not a college football playoff game, if it's not a New Year's Six bowl game, motivation is always a factor. What's the one thing you can always count on from a service academy? It's that they'll show up, they'll care, they'll be there. And I'm not sure I can say the same thing about Baylor, who also has issues in the trench defending the run, which I think Air Force can take advantage of. Air Force extremely underrated on defense. Their metrics were outstanding, started trending up towards the end of the year. They also can generate pressure on the quarterback, which I think can throw off Baylor's timing. And look, the last thing you want to do in a meaningless bowl game in Baylor, but win the Big 12 last year, is try prep and then play the option. I mean, it's like going to the dentist. I love Air Force here. I think they win this game outright. I'm rolling with the Falcons. Collin, where are you going?
Yeah, in a few hours here, we're going to get UTSA and Troy, two of the best group of five teams in the nation. And I'm going to take UTSA in this game, who have been underdogs for 95% of the time this line's been posted. But as we talk right now, they are the favorite. It is steaming hard. There are a couple money lines out there, sub minus 140. Take that if you can. But for purposes of this show, I'll take the spread. I'm sure it'll be like my 29th push of the season. But Troy's defense is excellent against the pass. One of the best. Carlton Martial is just a fantastic watch, going to play at the next level. But Troy has struggled against the ground game, and they have struggled against dual threat quarterbacks. Roadrunners quarterback Frank Harris is one of the best dual threats in the nation. He has confirmed he will be back for the 2023 season. A big boost to this team, to Jeff Traylor as a head coach. And, he is complimented by running back Kavorian Barnes. He ended the season with 28 carries and 170 yards against North Texas. That's going to be lethal against that Troy front seven today. And you just look at the pass what Troy went up against. Ole Miss averaged 6 yards a carry. App State had 4.5 on the ground against Troy. Troy needed to scramble and get 16 points in the fourth quarter against ULL. So there is definitely a method to beating Troy here, and UTSA's got it. That's what's going to win out in the Cure Bowl today.
We are going to battle there. I'm against you. The market agrees with you. The Carlton Martial, by the way, the all-time FBS leader in tackles. So make sure you check him out. That Troy secondary is also excellent. I just think this UTSA defense, they played, 4 or 5 backup quarterbacks down the stretch, is more vulnerable than Troy. But Frank Harris, it's hard to argue with backing him. And the market is certainly agreeing with you. Brett, where are you going here?
Real quick, Stuck, on your pick. Actually, another thing to add to that, I agree with you. Baylor is playing in TCU's home stadium. They did not want to go to this game. It would be like Oklahoma State playing a bowl game in Oklahoma Stadium. So motivation could be a factor there. So go Falcons. I'm looking at Cincinnati and Louisville. I guess probably I'm the only one I would advise you to look away. Former Louisville coach Scott Satterfield is now at Cincinnati, but won't coach for the Bearcats. Some Louisville fans might argue Satterfield didn't coach that much for Louisville either, but this game matches 2 interim coaches. For Cincinnati, defensive coordinator Kerry Combs will be the coach. He will be retained. He is all in. He wants to win this game. For Louisville, Deion Branch, great NFL career, is the director of player development. He's never been a coach before, but he will coach this game. I guess Jeff Saturday had another commitment. There are 10 full-time coaches on each staff. The Cardinals will only have 3 full-time coaches in this game. And also, they're without star quarterback Malik Cunningham. These teams play for the keg and nails. Little known fact, the losing team has to eat it. So I hope the Cards are hungry. Give me Cincinnati +1.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm just going to play devil's advocate all game, but I'm going to make Collin break the tie. But my question, Brett, we talk about motivation all the time, is Cincinnati lost their season finale, right, with a chance to host the conference championship. This is the team last year was in the college football playoff, and now they're in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl playing Louisville. And, their top 3 receivers and their top tight end all opted out. Their defense is intact. But Louisville, I would think that they may want to stick it to the team where their old coach went to. I think Deion Branch will be get them excited to play. Collin, you want to break the tie here? Louisville or Cincy?
I'm going to roll with Brett. Evan Prater is the better quarterback. And when you flip to the defensive side, Cincinnati has the better tackling metrics, the better third down metrics, and the better finishing drives. And if the defense is intact, that's what will rule this game. And by the way, I just don't believe that Scott Satterfield has completely removed himself from this bowl game. I mean, come on, he's got to be providing intel to his new team. Maybe he won't physically be there. Maybe he's out recruiting, whatever, but you can't convince me that, Cincinnati is not getting intel on Louisville from their new head coach.
All right, good stuff. Let's move on to our second best bet. I'll kick things off. I'm going to go with Liberty and the Flames with the points here against Toledo. This is a fade of the MAC. I love the MAC. Enjoy writing my MAC preseason and midseason MAC manifestos all year and love betting when those two teams play each other. But I really thought it was a down year overall for the MAC, and I think they're going to struggle this bowl season. And I think the Liberty hate, I show value in this number, a bunch of value. Hugh Freeze left, but I actually think Liberty is going to rally here. Nobody has been worse and more disappointing as a favorite over the past couple of years than Toledo under Jason Candle. So, yeah, I think that this game is way closer to a coin flip. I'll happily take the points with the Flames. Collin?
Let's go out to the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl and a Fresno State team that has been a thorn in the Pac-12 side for the last 2 years with Jake Haener at quarterback. Washington State is missing a handful of key contributors on both sides of the ball. The Cougars are missing their top 2 targets in the passing game on offense. The defense is missing their top 2 linebackers, and that's enough for head coach Jake Dickert, who's already going to be without both coordinators who have vacated for other positions. So Washington State comes limping into this game with a quarterback, Cam Ward, who is a highlight reel, and he's fun to watch, but he also does not protect the ball whatsoever. This Washington State offense is 113th in tackles for loss allowed. Everybody's in the backfield of the Cougars. 18 fumbles on the season. Half of them come from their quarterback, Cam Ward. And Fresno is a top havoc defense in the nation, particularly in pass breakups. They fall just behind Penn State nationally as one of the best in FBS. So that's going to make life even tougher on Cam Ward. I don't have to talk about the Fresno State offense. Everybody knows Jake Haener, Jordan Mims. That is a combination that has just terrorized everybody. The Mountain West Conference champions are going to cover here.
Yeah, I like Fresno here too. I mean, Washington State's going to be missing a bunch of linebackers, including Henley, who's really important. They're going to be missing 2 of their top targets on the offensive end. And the Fresno offense, I think, is still underrated because they had to play without Jake Haener for majority of the year. And that defense really turned it on down the stretch. They made a couple schematic changes, started blitzing a lot more, and they really came on here. Run defense still a little vulnerable. That doesn't really matter against Washington State, one of the most pass-heavy teams in the country. And for what it's worth, air raid type offenses have struggled in bowls. That extended breaks kind of throw off the rhythm. So I completely agree with you on Fresno State. Brett, what's the look here?
I'm going to the Vegas Bowl. Who doesn't want to go to Vegas for the Vegas Bowl? Well, Florida didn't actually. They prefer to stay closer to home after going 6-6. And then when they learned they likely were going to play Oregon State, their response was, is there any way we can play UCLA since UCLA doesn't play defense? In Vegas, I know you guys are well aware of this. 21 is blackjack. 21 is also how many players the Gators will be without in the Vegas Bowl, including starting quarterback Anthony Richardson. He's out. Backup quarterback has been dismissed from the program. Gators will start third stringer Jack Miller, who's coming off thumb surgery and may or may not be 100%, depending on who you talk to. If Miller is ineffective, the Gators are down to a 4th string walk-on. UF also will be without their top offensive lineman, their top defensive player. I probably could have saved a lot of time by just simply listing who will play instead of who won't play. On the flip side, this is a huge game for Oregon State. They can get the 10 wins for the first time since 2006. They want to be there. Look, I know the line has gone crazy. It's up to 10. Before all these opt-outs happened, it was 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure. I just think Oregon State's the better team. They want to be there. A depleted Florida roster. Let it roll. Give me the Beavers in Vegas.
I would have disagreed. What if I just disagree with the entire bowl season, Brett? But at least you agree with the Air Force. But I don't know. I mean, you could still make the case that Florida is the more talented roster. I do think both. I think Oregon State will show up. They laid an egg in their bowl last year. But you do bring up a good point. If Jack Miller is not healthy, or if he's rusty, if he's ineffective early, then it'll be disastrous. But if he is healthy and he can get into a rhythm, the 4-star kid, really talented, highly touted, that transferred from Ohio State. Collin, I'll throw it to you to potentially break the tie again. Do you have any quick thoughts on this?
No, I'm all on Oregon State, but there's things that bother me. I mean, I love Oregon State. I think they're going to cover this game, but 2 things that bother me. One, they were on Fremont last night partying like crazy, and it takes me a week to recover from being on Fremont. 2, Billy Napier is the head coach of Florida, and that is a head coach who knows the number, knows the total, has told everybody scared money don't make money. And if you want to ever see the biggest backdoor head coach in college football, it's Billy Napier. So I would get the best of the number. Maybe wait if you're looking at 10 or 11, maybe wait to see if there's further steam. But definitely I would want to be on the Oregon State side, but you're going to sweat in the 4th quarter with Billy Napier trying to do everything in up tempo to cover that number.
All right, Collin and Brett, we're all opposed. You guys are on the same page at least. Let's go on to our third best bet of bowl season through December 26th. I'm going to go with the North Texas Boise State over. The North Texas defense is horrendous, to say the least. If you go back, they can't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop the run. One of the worst run defenses in the country. I think they're bottom 5 in line yards, opportunity rate. Meanwhile, Boise State's top 25 in the nation in both. since they went to Taylor Green, their rush offense has been dynamic. And I think a good comparison is when North Texas played another Mountain West team with a dual threat quarterback and an explosive running back. When they played UNLV, they got 58 points, 365 rushing yards. Other side, North Texas, they want to throw the ball a lot, and they have some explosive receivers. I think they'll be able to put up some points here against a Boise State secondary that metrically is outstanding. But if you look, their 9 wins, they played an FCS team, 7 of the worst passing offenses in the country, and then Fresno State without Jake Haener, which is one of the worst passing offenses in the country. And, in their losses, including UTEP, they basically were giving up 30 points when they played BYU, Fresno, late in the year. They were all able to move the ball through the air. So I think North Texas will be able to do enough. I think this game's going to be wide open. North Texas with Boise State's offensive coordinator. It's his last game. Derek Cutter before he retires. I think you're going to see them throw the kitchen sink. And I just don't think Boise State should get into the 40s here. I think North Texas will do its part to get this game to go over. Collin, where are you going?
Let's go to the New Mexico Bowl. We have 2 high-flying offenses in BYU and SMU that might not be so high-flying coming into this game to start out. BYU struggling. Listen, Kalani Sitake was being honest. 2 days ago, he cut an interview. Jaron Hall's not going to play. In so many words, not going to play in this game. That really leaves a very, very small depth chart that BYU has at the quarterback position. So, it's hard to expect them to be as good in the passing game or even on the ground, if SMU is going to key in on that without their quarterback. So Kalani Sitake is going to struggle to get points up. And then if you go to the SMU side, Rhett Lashley, his first comments were that he has other priorities in this bowl season, which was Texas high school championships. He has to go recruit those. The transfer portal, he has to recruit those. Rhett Lashley's a great head coach, but this is his first time to have all of this come at him in the state of Texas. And he's got to prioritize everything that he's doing. And he loses top wide receiver in the nation for the NFL draft, Rashee Rice, who had 156 targets on the season, I think second most nationally. So they're losing their biggest weapon here. It's an air raid offense, which we know, RIP Mike Leach, who would say all the time, when you get the air raid offense out of sync, it's hard to pick it back up. I'm taking the first half under here. We got quarterback concerns for BYU. We got timing concerns and other priorities for SMU, losing their best weapon. Give me the first half under.
Yeah, expect BYU to lean on their ground game here, drop 8, keep the explosive plays to a minimum, and then, try to get some stops in the red zone. Sorry if I was a little flustered. I just got news that I have money now on Zach Wilson on Sunday, which is the worst news anyone can receive. On a Friday morning, Brett, where are you going?
Maybe Zach has some eligibility left because BYU can use him. I'm in New Mexico Bowl also. BYU has attempted 380 passes this year. Jaron Hall has attempted 376 of those. And as Collin said, Jaron Hall is not playing. He's been out all week. Their backup has transferred. Their third straight quarterback has some injury issues. BYU may be down to 14 quarterback Nick Billups. Wildcat offense, anyone? For SMU, their star wide receiver Rice is out. But you know who's not? Tanner Mordecai. He can sling it. He can put up enough points. BYU, after a nice start, has kind of really faltered down the stretch. I think injuries had a lot to do with that. And SMU's got a little chip on their shoulder. They're playing against the team that was selected to go to the Big 12, and they weren't. So the Mustangs finally get revenge from that heart-wrenching 1980 Holiday Bowl loss to BYU, which no one younger than me remembers, but Google
Jim
it.
Jim McMahon.
There you go. So give me the ponies in New Mexico.
Is Cooligan even a company anymore? The Cooligan Holiday Bowl? I don't even know.
Yeah, that was like 6-7 years before I was even born. But that was Jim McMahon over the Pony Express, 21 points in the final 233 to win 46-45 in the Holiday Bowl, which in Provo they refer to as the Miracle Bowl. So yeah, it's the first meeting since then. My only concern would be that SMU, their defense is so bad, especially against the run. So if BYU just comes out here and hands it off, are they able to just control the clock and then march up and down the field? These are 2 of the worst defenses that are in the bowl field. Just couldn't stop a nosebleed all year. By the way, you mentioned the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. Maybe one day I'll get like a Brett McMurphy Bowl. Where would the Brett McMurphy Bowl be? Where would you have to have that?
South Florida. We know this from our BBOC.
Yeah.
New BCS.
It would either be in Tampa or Yukon, Oklahoma, one of the two.
All right.
I wouldn't have that big of a payout either.
All right.
We could have the Darren Ravel Bowl, and then it would pay major bucks because he's a big money guy. We're just little schmucks that work behind the scenes. But maybe we can get a Darren Ravel Bowl. How about that's a good segue.
He wouldn't sponsor a bowl. He'd sponsor like a card trading convention. All right, but yeah, great transition there. Let's bring in the universally loved Mr. Darren Ravel for a market report. Later this month. But Darren, the main, we got to get a good potential fade from you. What is you got a bet for us that you like this weekend?
Well, it's going to be a tease this time, Stuck, because I'm hosting Green.Daily, and so we're going to try to get people to tune into that. And
you're hosting today?
I am hosting.
Oh God! All right,
what do you got?
And you're teasing, and you're going to tease college football.
Well, I'm trying to get it continuous for people to continuously.
Oh, I thought you meant you were going to give us a teaser, and I was going to
no, not an actual teaser.
Okay, never tease college football. Okay, so I'll be on there.
And we'll see you all at noon to watch the fade there, where I'll be giving a fade Ravel for both college football and NFL.
Okay, perfect. Reminder: use the bonus code action at BetMGM. Risk-free wager up to $1,000. Terms and conditions do apply. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks as always to Collin, Brett, and Darren for joining me. Thanks especially to the audio and video teams on the back end who don't get enough credit. And thank you again for tuning in. Make sure you also check out the Big Bets on Campus podcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we will have 4 bowl previews. One's already out. Another one will come out on Monday, and then 2 more later this month. And one final reminder to make sure you download the award-winning Action Network app. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Start of bowl season coming up here just shortly. Good luck with all of your wagers, and we will see you here on the 27th for the second part of our bowl betting live show series. Good luck. Cheers.